Post-Banlist just dropped, and Tachyon was one of the decks that got nerfed on it. Transmigration and Spiral Galaxy are now both limited to 2, meaning that we can only play a total of 2 copies of either of those cards in your deck. So we're obviously only able to play 1 copy of Transmigration and 1 copy of Tachyon Spiral Galaxy. What does this mean for the deck? The first important thing about this nerf is just kind of consistency. It means that we're less likely to open one of our traps, meaning that if the opponent is able to prevent us from searching for one of our traps, we don't get that easy playthrough of already having one. So it means that we are probably going to try our best to search for both of these more often than not, rather than just opening one and searching for one of them and that being kind of good enough. But it also means that with only 1 copy of Tachyon Spiral Galaxy in our deck, we're not going to be able to use both of them on the opponent's turn and then follow up with another copy of Spiral Galaxy on our next turn. That potentially makes our follow-up with Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon a bit weaker, unless we are able to save one of our traps in hand. So the opponent being able to bait out our traps during their turn is actually going to do some real damage to us if they have any other kind of interruption that can stop our Neo Galaxy Eyes. But that's not the only thing to talk about when it comes to this deck. Banlist also hit a lot of the other decks that we were afraid of going into, but also buffed a lot of decks that are going to impact the meta quite a bit, specifically Blue Eyes and Shadow. Blue Eyes and Shadow are basically at full power again, and Shadow is definitely, in my opinion, going to be making a tear back in the meta, right as it used to. And since Blue Eyes has a fantastic matchup against Shadow, that also means Blue Eyes is going to be played a lot more heavily again as well. Blue Eyes is actually stronger than it was before. Shadow's is only just as strong as it was before. Blue Eyes is actually stronger than it was before because it also has access to the Tachyon package itself, which is going to allow them to use Tachyon Transmigration themselves alongside Hope Harbinger, alongside everything else that they can do purely. And Blue Eyes, if they can set up their whole field, and Shadow's, if they can set up their whole field, is actually going to be kind of difficult for us to deal with. Under Winter, we can't use the 7th one. Against Blue Eyes, they can just easily negate the 7th one, and that is our best going second tool. The rest of their interruptions are going to fold us. Meanwhile, going first against these decks, our going first board is still the best going first board in the game, especially against Blue Eyes summoning Dragluon. That's going to absolutely shit on them. And the type of interruptions we set up, it really doesn't matter what Shadows are going to do. We're probably going to be able to stop them from stopping us. So going first isn't the issue. Clearly going second is the issue. And because going second is the issue, we're going to be playing as many hand traps as we can possibly fit into our deck. These are the hand traps I've fit into my deck. I've got 3 Nibiru, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 DD Crow, and 3 Imperm. I could play more hand traps, I just currently don't know what I would personally cut for them. I could cut out some copies of Cloud Dragon, but I feel like having 3 Cloud Dragon assures up our Dragluxion search a lot easier, because we would like to use our Dragluxion search to get one of our traps and our Tachyon Primal to search for another one of our traps. So being able to open the Cloud Dragon means that we can more often do that instead of searching for the Cloud Dragon, especially if the opponent negates one of our searches. Nibiru is either going to destroy the opponent's boards that would otherwise destroy us, but also if the opponent plays under the Nibiru, it also means that they're not going to be setting up as many interruptions for us to deal with. And the less interruptions, the better. Effect Veiler and Imperm, fantastic in the mirror match to negate the opponent's Dragluxion, but also negating Kyberman is very impactful against Blue Eyes. Getting Construct can be very impactful against Shadows. DD Crow, also impactful against these matchups. Having as many hand traps in the deck as possible. Basically, we are trying our best to open 2 hand traps going second so that we can use the hand traps to weaken the opponent enough that our follow-up play will be enough to break through and give us game. Even if we open just 1 hand trap, if our hand is really gassed, then maybe we can just play through stuff with Engine as well. The board breaker meta might be over because Branded, being the best deck to try to board break, is nerfed quite heavily. I still think Branded could be good, but I don't think Branded is going to be quite as good as Blue Eyes and Shadow, and even Tachyon, to be honest. Aside from that, the game plan is pretty much the same. So let's get into some games to showcase how the deck looks like after the ban list. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to show a replay against Dark Magician. If you guys have seen my Dark Magician video, you know that going second, they can set up Ultimate Fusion to be able to break the opponent's board a bit, bait out interruptions, but in this replay, I'll show you how exactly to stop that. So we're going to go with a normal combo, Infinity Dragon, summon Galactic Spiral, go into Dragluxion, we're going to search for Cloud Dragon. Cloud Dragon is going to summon itself. Dragluxion is going to detach 2 to go into Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, and Spiral Dragon is going to revive itself. Cloud Dragon is going to summon out Tachyon Primal from deck and get that Transmigration. and we're gonna go into Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. Now we already have a back renegade. Dark Magician uses a hell of a lot of spells, so having this against Dark Magician is important, and we don't need to play around kaijus by having 2 Tachyons on field, because Dark Magician's skill prevents them from playing kaijus. Use our Cloud Dragon to attach, we set our Transmigration anyway, and then during their draw phase, we're going to activate the Tachyon Primal, summoning it to their field. We're going to get our search for the other Galaxy Trap, and in the process, the opponent isn't going to be able to activate this skill to Ultimate Fusion us. So we've turned off their going second help. We're going to turn off another one of their spells. We turn off anything they do that can remove our Tachyon with the Spiral Galaxy that we're searched for, and if the opponent has any other threats, like they summon Dragoon, we can use Transmigration to negate whatever Dragoon does and shuffle it back. So we are pretty much safe. On top of the fact, we also have Nibiru. Okay, so we're good. So we activate our Tachyon Primal here, and he scoops as a result. So it didn't even matter what he did. Okay, so now we're going first against Blue Eyes. We have a skill target, so we search for the Infinity Dragon, summon Infinity Dragon. This isn't the type of hand we can necessarily play through Effect Veiler, but we can play through a Nibiru at least. Some Blue Eyes players do play Nibirus. We go into Dragluxion. That's going to search for Cloud Dragon. I know I already have Transmigration, but you know, I could search for Transmigration if, you know, my hand was better, potentially. Now I go into my Dragluon, and I make sure to not summon my Cloud Dragon, because Dragluon needs no other monsters on the field to be there in order to activate. So I activate its third effect to prevent the opponent's Dragon-type monsters they control from activating their effect. Since it's Blue Eyes, and they are all dragons, you know, I'm going to be preventing all of their effects from activating. That's going to be a big deal. So I now normal summon my Cloud Dragon, tribute it out, summon Primal. Primal's going to search my Spiral Galaxy. Galaxy Spiral Dragon is going to come back, and we're going to go into my Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Then I set my Imperm here. That's going to be important, and I have a Crow in hand. That's also going to be important. He's going to use his skill here. Now, typically, guys, we do happen to have a Tachyon Primal in our hand. During the opponent's draw phase, we summon it to the opponent's side of the field just to prevent them from setting a trap from the deck. But keep in mind that when you do that, the Dragluon is going to consider our own Primal on the opponent's side of the field to be the opponent's dragon, so we're not going to be able to get a search from it, but that's completely okay. The point is that we prevent the opponent from setting a trap from the deck. But here, since I didn't have another Primal, he is going to be able to get his searches, set a trap from deck. So he's going to normal summon Cyberman. I'm going to Imperm that. Imperming that, it means he's not going to be able to go full combo, but he's going to still, I guess, try to play through Nibiru, I guess. But he goes, summons his alternative. Then, since he has a Blue Eyes on field, he's going to activate his alternative. I'm going to use my Spiral Galaxy to protect my Tachyon in response to that. So even if he pops me, I'm going to be okay. He's going to reveal 2. Pop 2. So he's going to Synchro Summon Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, so that when it comes to my turn and I go into Neo Galaxy Eyes, he's going to be able to tag out to prevent that, but I do have my Transmigration for that. So he's going to use his Bingo Machine. Hopefully he gets a True Light. He got something all right. So he's going to end his turn, right? And I'm going to banish his Majesty with my DD Crow to prevent him from doing so during my battle phase. Summons the Chaos Dragon, ends his turn. It comes to my turn. Top deck my 7th one, activate it, summon Tachyon, summon Neo Tachyon. Cloud Dragon is going to equip to it, and he is going to use his Spirit Dragon tagging out. I'm going to Transmigration this, and that's going to be gone. Now I can activate that, prevent the opponent from doing anything else. Now I can get a search, and yeah, he scoops it up. So I'm going second this time, and I have my hand traps. That's exactly the whole point of the way that I've built this deck. The whole point is to open at least a hand trap, but hopefully 2 hand traps, so that everything the opponent does, we have some kind of a defense. And, you know, not that necessarily hand traps are the best thing for every deck, but for Tachyon, a deck that really struggles to go second, maybe it doesn't struggle against everything, but it struggles in the meta going second. We really want to play as many hand traps as possible. So he's going to use his Kyberman. We're going to Imperm him. He's going to use Book of Eclipse, flipping himself down because he really needs this summon from the deck. My goodness. So he's going to summon Blue Eyes from the deck. He's going to use his skill, setting True Light to the field, flipping up True Light and summoning a Blue Eyes from the hand. He's going to rank up into Hope Harbinger, summon Tachyon from hand. So he already had it. That's going to search for his Transmigration. That was his 5th summon. So I'm going to Nibiru him. His Tachyon Transmigration is now turned off. He has his True Light to revive something, and he might have another Blue Eyes back row, I guess. My turn, go into 7th one, summon Tachyon right away, go into Neo Tachyon right away. Now I'm going to be able to detach a material. He's going to droplet me, but sending a trap to droplet me so that I cannot, you know, use a trap from my hand to protect myself. He had no way of knowing that I had a trap in my hand, but by sending a trap, he guarantees that if I was lucky enough to draw into Transmigration or Spiral Galaxy, I'm not going to be able to protect myself. So that is what it is. Unfortunately, I can just rank up into full armor Photon Dragon, pop his trap, and the trap is going to revive a Blue Eyes, but it doesn't matter because when it hits the grave, it's going to destroy his whole field. I can use my skill to get a search, but all I need to do is attack for game. Okay, so I'm going first again. And in this case, I have a pretty good hand because I have a Tachyon Primal and my Infinity Dragon. So I'm going to summon the Galactic Spiral from deck, go into Dragluxion. It's going to search for my Galactic Spiral. Then I'm going to be able to detach to, go into Dragluon, you know, attach the link, detach the link, prevent the opponent's dragons from activating, summon Cloud Dragon, summon out the Primal from deck, search for 7th Tachyon. So the fact that I did open one of my traps is fine because I still have another search target in my deck. I can use my Galactic Spiral to revive itself and go into my Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Now, the thought process that we have to think about here is maybe the opponent has a kaiju. If the opponent does have a kaiju, the right choice would be to summon Tachyon Primal to my side of the field, so that way if he does kaiju me, I at least have my Primal and my Tachyon traps on my field so that I can still activate them. But if I do that, it means that he can set Majesty from the deck with his skill. So I have to consider, do I care more about him kaijuing me, or do I care more about him using Majesty? If he kaijus me, he still gets the Majesty, and he still gets to help my field anyway. So him having a kaiju, it kind of is what it is. He either baits out my Transmigration, or he destroys my Transmigration, or he prevents my Transmigration. At least if I can stop him from getting what is guaranteed to him, then I get some guaranteed value there. So I use my Primal, summon it to the opponent's side of the field, and important to keep in mind, I do have all of my Tachyon search targets in rotation anyway. I don't have any left in my deck, but if I did, I still wouldn't be able to get the search because the Dragon prevents the search. So he's going to be able to use a skill, and the fact that this is a level 8 Dragon body on his field means that he can use it for plays potentially. So he's going to add his Ultimate Fusion to his hand. He's going to reveal Blue Eyes. He's going to summon that alternative. It's not going to be able to activate to destroy any of my guys because of the Dragon. He's going to set Majesty on the field because he now controls a Blue Eyes. But he's not going to activate it because he can't play through all of my back row. He can't really effectively get through my stuff. He feels like, okay, he has 3 set back row. If he top decks into his rank up magic, he's not going to be able to activate it. So he just sets his 3 back row, and this is pretty much a good decision for a Blue Eyes player. As a Blue Eyes player, if your monsters aren't putting in the work, make the back row put the work in, because the back row can legitimately get the job done for you. But on my draw phase, I'm going to use my Battle and Morph Galaxy Eyes to turn into my ultimate form, top deck the 7th one, and during the draw phase, activate my Imperm on his Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon. Why? Because on the field, its effect makes him Blue Eyes White Dragon, meaning that it synergizes with the Majesty. So by preventing him from being called Blue Eyes White Dragon, that is 1 less Blue Eyes he can reveal from Majesty, right? So, and in the process, I'm also, since Imperm was face down, I'm also negating this back row in this zone here. So he's going to chain the Majesty, because it's the only thing he can chain. So I'm going to Transmigration him. In this process, I'm negating 2 of his back row. I'm negating the Majesty and the back row in the Imperm zone. So he only has this 1 back row set here that he can activate that can even do anything. So now I can use my 7th one at the start of the main phase, go into Tachyon, go into Neo Tachyon. He's going to use Eclipse. Doesn't matter. I can use my Spiral Galaxy to make myself unaffected, and I can just flip my guys back up anyway. So then I can use the skill, reveal 7th Tachyon, search Levianeer. I can rank up into Cypher Blade. That's going to pop his face down, and I can banish 3 from grave, 2 lights in the dark to pop his remaining monsters and go in for game. And I'll flex a little bit by halving my own damage because I just have that much on board. Shout out to Adrian for helping me out with some of those replays. But yeah, this is how Tachyon is going to be going moving forward. I think we're going to be maximizing on hand traps to prevent the opponents going first plays from utterly destroying us when we go second. And going first, we're the best going first deck in the game in my opinion. So maybe these hand traps might not be the optimal ones. These are the ones I'm playing right now. Other good ones. Droll might be one that's worth playing instead. You might play Mourner, so you're essentially playing 9 Veiler with like the 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 3 Mourner. Ghost Bell might be really damn good because it works against Schism. It even works against 7th Tachyon, funnily enough. So Ghost Bell might even be the way to go, but at least for now I don't think I can cut any of the engine slots here, so I'd have to consider which of my engine I would have to cut for this. Maybe I'll cut Crow for Mourner. But yeah, as if you have any more questions about Tachyon, be sure to leave them in the comments. I hope this video helped you with updating your Tachyon decks for the new meta. But yeah guys, if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell to get notified next time we drop a video. Have yourselves a good one guys, and I've been Undead from Team 6K, signing out.
Hey. Why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low-key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the Weatherman. I ain't ask them to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean, so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream, so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon, they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast. For real.